Hi there, my name is Sarah Gordon,
Hi there, my name is Annie Clark.
and we are going to share some insights into some disasters that we have both had whilst attempting to deliver training courses online. Now, Annie, you mentioned that you had two disasters in recent history. Do you want to take us through your first one?
Yeah, and they were just the two that sprung to mind, Sarah. There's plenty more, don't worry. I think the first disaster I had was when I was running a webinar for a client and I forgot to close a poll down, which meant that they couldn't see my screen. So I was happily chatting away and didn't realise that people in the chat box were going, Annie, we can't see your screen. And so from that point onwards, I've always had a co-pilot because whilst they might not be contributing to the whole session, they're just there in the background supporting you with the chat function, with polls, and it's reassuring to me as well that I know someone is there that can answer any questions or queries. So I think that that was a massive lesson learned, is don't try and do everything yourself, because it's very easy to get flustered, particularly if something's taking a bit longer, or things are a little bit slower. And so that was my first disaster. And then the second disaster I had, which was genuinely on Friday, was I'd invited clients to a meeting and I got flustered and I deleted someone, and then they weren't able to rejoin, and they were very understanding about it, because I think people at the moment are very patient and understanding, but I was left genuinely mortified because I thought that it was a very small meeting, I'd be fine without a co-pilot. No, that reinforced that lesson. Always have a co-pilot.
Excellent. So there is a good learning. Have a co-pilot.
Yeah, that's my main takeaway.
Oh, brilliant. Well, I don't know that I've consciously managed to delete somebody from a meeting. It's not to say that I haven't done it. But yeah, I think it was maybe one of the first webinars that I had given, and this is like 6 years ago now. So to start with, yeah, I was attempting to do it by myself. I was also doing it in somebody else's offices. So there was an element of me not quite knowing where all the bits and pieces were. And approximately 4 minutes into this live webinar, which was also being recorded, the fire alarm went off.
Oh no.
In the building. And whilst it wasn't a video webinar, it was just my voice. You can hear the fire alarm go off, and you can almost hear the thought process go through my mind of, should I exit the building, or is that just the fire alarm test, etc. And I mean, I'm a risk manager, so I should be someone who's really good at exiting a building when the fire alarm sounds. And anyway, then the fire alarm stops, and it's all quite hilarious. But yeah, so I think that's a case of actually making sure that you're comfortable with your surroundings, and you also know if there's going to be a fire alarm test, so that you can make those decisions very quickly. And of course, make sure you have a co-pilot so that you can turn and look at them, or if they're remote to you, as is probably the case at the moment, you can send them a quick message either in the private chat function or on WhatsApp or something like that, saying you might need to take over right now because I'm exiting the building, type thing. So I think that was number one. So fire alarm going off whilst you're trying to deliver. Solution to that is have a co-pilot. I think the second thing that has gone wrong for me is, so on the morning of delivering module 4 of a 5-module course, which was something where we were doing a module once every 2 weeks for this particular organization. We had the 2 main trainers, and we also had a backup person as well. And I was effectively number 4 in that line, not expecting to have to deliver any training. And actually I was having to give a big talk that day to lots of people. And I got a phone call from so of the 4 of us, so person number 2 was ill. Mm-hmm. Then person number 1 couldn't do it for some reason because he was stuck without internet, which then left person number 3, who was also ill. And so I was left thinking, okay, do I stand up and give a talk, or do I give the online training? Now, luckily, what we managed to pull together was that we did have person number 5 and 6 that we could draw on, who knew the material really well. And so all we had to do was do a little bit of a bridge for the client into, today you'll be looked after by this person, and they're fantastic at what they do. So that was something there where, again, have a co-pilot.
Yeah.
As be the learning, because they will save you with regards to most of what can go wrong in online training. But also, don't just have the co-pilot, actually have a backup person as well, just in case. Yeah. Because the thing about this is, usually if you're doing face-to-face training, you're going to arrive in the location the night before or wherever. And so you've got a bit more time to work out, oh, help, what do we do if somebody's ill? Whereas in online stuff, because everything's happening much faster, sometimes you need to have that depth kind of within the team as a whole. So I think those would be my 2 main disasters that I've had, albeit they actually quite a long time ago now, but it's the same stuff that's come through, and exactly the same as yourself, Annie. The key control is have a co-pilot who can take over. And so that again comes back to the fact that the person that you've got with you needs to be really good in their own rights. They can't just be a technical person who's not going to say anything. They've got to be able to step into the lead person's shoes and save the day when the lead person uses their internet or whatever, or delete somebody.
But I think you're right. I think just generally is thinking about what is my plan B or plan C. So earlier, Sarah and I were talking and my internet connection was unstable. So I'm now using I'm using my hotspot. So just making sure that you've always got a backup, I think, is really important.
Yeah, no, exactly. And also that you and your co-pilot have worked together long enough so that, you know, the other person can recognize if the first person is struggling, and you can just hop in there and say, whilst Annie is rectifying her internet situation, what we're now going to do is blah, blah, blah. And either continue on with the training as you had planned, or perhaps go early into an exercise. So it just gives you a bit of time to sort things out. Cool. So I think we've both shared a couple of our disasters. That's probably enough for the moment.
Yeah, I'm reliving it. Let's end it now.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much, Annie.
Thanks, Sarah.